This wood boiler heats my house, big attached garage, and my water. I'm going to tell you about it today, how it works, and if I do it again. Let's go. Guys, welcome back to the farm. Hey, Woodmaster 4400 runs on dried wood, green wood, pretty much anything you throw in it. I've been running this unit for about 15 years. When I bought the stove, I didn't have this big garage. I had a little garage attached, and the stove was a lot closer. I had to since empty it and move it back. Runs with water lines plumbed underground and into your basement, ties into your furnace, a heat exchanger in there, water circulating, very similar to a furnace or a car heater or a car radiator. Out here in the country, our heat source is propane. I never did like propane. I just don't like the way it heats the house. Back when I was 28 years old and I made the switch to this, I was keeping my house at about 60 degrees, and I was burning through probably $600 to $700 per month, and it was just eating me alive. So my brother put one in, both my brothers, couple neighbors, same exact unit. I didn't even go searching around. I knew they had good luck with theirs, so I said I'm gonna get the exact same one. Back in the day, that unit was $5 grand. You guys comment down below if you know what they cost now. I'll tell you if I got my money's worth out of it. Buying the underground piping, now there was a garage about right in this area, so it was real close to the house. That was all the plumbing, the parts to heat the hot water and everything was only about $1,000. So I had $6,000 in this whole unit. I was going through about $3,500 of propane per year. So the math didn't take long to add up. I had that thing paid off in less than 2 years. Since then, put this big garage on. That stove's rated at 5,000 square foot. House is 2,500. Garage 2,000. So buying that, I didn't really realize I was gonna put a big attached garage on, but I got the bigger size anyway. Bigger, always get a little bit bigger if you can. So I'm heating 4,500 square foot with that Woodmaster 4400. What I do is I've been buying wood the last few years. We'll have to do some math here and see if I'm still saving money. I bought a big semi-load back in 24. Now we're talking. I only burned about half of it. The pile you're seeing over there is just a partial. I might have enough to get through. If not, I've got some where we dug out of some fence rows and stuff behind the farm where we can cut some of that up too if we have to, but come in here where it's warm. So that big semi-load of wood's $2,700. You break that down, that's $1,350 per year buying it. Now there's some fee, you know, you've got your chainsaws. I run a Husqvarna 455 Rancher, heavy duty saw. It's all I need. I got it choked down to about a 16-inch bar. And let me tell you, it does some ripping. So let's just put it at about, with your time and stuff, $2,000. I'm already time ahead. You're not buying one of these for convenience per se. I mean, you're pretty well married to it. Water lines come in through here. Now the back of that stove's got 2 different sets for pumps, and I'm glad it did. I'm utilizing it. I got 1 pump for this barn. See, that's a big radiator. All it does is the water circulates the pump, pumping it in, pumping it back out, and blowing the heat. Now, the other pump, the main one running the house, that's coming through underneath the cement. And I've got a little laundry room on the other side of that wall. There's a crawl space, so it punches into the house. You just run the lines in, and it ties in your hot water heater. Water heat like you wouldn't believe what this thing has. I mean, it's just pretty much on demand, and that's just a nice byproduct of it. That was a solid brass heat exchanger that the water just runs through. And then you've got the radiator that goes into sits on top of the furnace. the heat just runs. So I've got 2 thermostats in here. One's for my propane furnace for backup. If she goes, for some reason this goes out, something happens and I'm not here, the house hits 68, that'll kick on. The propane will start running. I just got a small propane tank off the side of the house. Don't use much propane anymore. And then the main thermostat, we have it 72, 73 degrees. You have a wood boiler like this, you'll keep it as hot as you want. You really will. These things, they're pushing, see that just shut this garage off. This garage is 55 degrees. It's pushing 170 degree water heat through that. So the biggest downfall of these things, I would say, it is your time. But if you're a farmer, construction worker, anybody who's, I would say, self-employed, you can fit it into your schedule. I mean, it's not a convenience thing. It is if you like money and you like to stay warm. What I learned is you keep it and you stack your wood around it and you kind of keep it sealed off. I used to have this open where wind could funnel underneath that. It's a big round drum, and it wouldn't help it. It would cool it down. Like right now, it's trying to get up the temperature. We'll shut it off. Take a look inside. Oh, it's got 1 more degree and it was going to shut off. And that's it. That's a fierce amount of heat right there. We'll leave that open. I come out here and just heat my hands up when I'm cutting, but I just move the skid steer and I'll take the logs and I'll put them close, cut them up, stack them. I only do it about once a week. It only takes about 20-30 minutes to do my once a week deal. I probably got a month's worth here of burning. I see this at the end here, it's called cribbing it. You just stagger these so your pile don't run down. But that's the outdoor wood burner. Where's your temp at? Yeah, 172. She's climbing quick. I'll take and shut that off. You're gonna see some smoke come out of here. As far as cleaning the ash out, every few days when it gets burnt down, I'll push the coal or the coals, some of the wood to the back, and I scoop it out with a shovel. I just chuck it right here, and then I'll take the skid steer and I'll plow it in there. Make good fertilizer for that pasture field. There's that smoke. Would I do this again? Yeah, I would. 15 years of having it. I found the original paperwork on it. It's got a 15-20 year warranty. It's supposed to last that long. I did see if it goes in that drum, because what will happen is the welds will end up failing. If she does go to heck, I'll have to replace it. I don't know what a new one costs. I don't even want to know. I'm sure it's probably double what it was. But when you're living in the country, like when the wife and I went up the Boyne Mountain, I mean, that was 3-4 hours north, and that's it. Michigan goes even further north. When you're up in these northern states, we were going up 75, and you can see where people lived off in the boondocks there. Every one of them houses had a smokestack. You burn wood because it's it keeps you very warm, and it's a good way to clean up a bunch of fallen down trees, and it's a good way to be efficient. Now, if you live in town, or if you live in a different environment and you're not allowed to burn like that, then I guess you'd have to move out of there. But yeah, one time this area, this little small, I mean, there's not many houses you can see, but there was about 5 of these running. My one brother still burns, I burn. I'm gonna keep burning, because if you try to heat all this with propane, man, like I said, I have 60 degrees. I was cold at 60, and it was $3,000 a year or more. Now it's costing me about $2,000. Just say $2,000 to be on the fair side, not counting the skid steer coming from the farm. You don't necessarily need the skid steer. I just do it because I can. But $2,000, and you're keeping that house at 73 degrees. Couple byproducts of it: hey, you stay in shape, get some fresh air, get out of the house. Remember when Dad, he burned wood, he lived right there. That was the house my grandfather bought, and all my aunts and uncles were raised in it, and my brothers and sisters were raised in it. He burned wood. I remember thinking when I was younger, I'm not burning wood, no way in heck, it's too much work, it's too cold out there. Well, I was getting your 20s, I was still thinking that way. until I started having to pay the bill. And I realized there's a reason why guys do what they do. My dad was doing what he did. You realize you're not as smart as you think you are. Get out, burn the wood, get the exercise, get some fresh air, and you'll be really good for it. And you'll keep the wife and kids happy. Because I got little Johnny in there. He's 9 months. I got to keep that house pretty warm. So guys, that's the outdoor wood burner, Woodmaster 4400. Highly recommend. Leave a comment. How many of you guys burn wood? How many of you used to burn wood and went away from it? Or how many of you guys want to go to it? It's a game changer. But you gotta want it. You gotta be a homebody. If you're not a homebody, it's not gonna happen. Got a lot of buddies that got them indoor stoves too. They'll heat you right out of them houses, man. You'll have to open a window. But this one's nice because it's controlled. It's on a thermostat, and you go out for a dairy farmer, any farmer really, but dairy farmer, you're going out 5 a.m. Fill it twice a day in this kind of weather. It's about 0 out. 12-hour burn easily. And then in the coming into the winter months and then going out of the winter months, you know, say like November, December, and then March, April, May, you're barely filling it. I mean, you're heating your house in Michigan, at least we are, 7 months. Shoot, going on 8. You know, it's like the opposite of guys that live in Florida. They're cooling their house that much. Where in Michigan, up here, we're having to run the heat. And I know money was tight. It always gets tighter up here as winter comes. You know, winter makes it harder on things. But once I switched to that, the money never changed. I went from cutting grass, service a lawnmower, put that away. That's about once a week you're mowing, to getting the chainsaw out and cutting a load of wood once a week. So your chores pretty much stay the same, and your bills don't go up. I know when that propane man used to come in, man, I did not. It took me a minute, and I went down to my brother's house about a mile from here. He's got this is a 1912 schoolhouse here. I mean, it's done a lot of work to it, but it was a 1912 schoolhouse. There's Mom's wind chime. She's talking to us. And my brother's got a late 1800s house down there, farmhouse. And I went in there, my mid-20s, and he had put one of them in. And I was here, 60 degrees, cooling. No one wanted to be around here. It's too cold in there. And I went in there, and that old house, he had it up over 70 degrees. I couldn't believe it. I literally was in there like, wow, these things really work. And I buckled down. That was when I was single, no kids, and I saved up $5-6 grand back when you could do that, when you were single with no kids. And that following summer, I bought it. I went up to Ben's in Brown City and bought it. Now Greg went to West Branch to get his. I went with him. But as far as the farm, we still use propane because we don't really use a lot of gas. We just turn that, you know, them cows, they heat that parlor up pretty good. And then the shop. But I'm not in that shop as much because I'm in here. I'm over here now. So outdoor wood burner. Leave me a comment. Take care. See you next video.